Did you know that your everyday morning routine might be quietly setting you up for a stroke? Most older adults never suspect it. They assume strokes strike suddenly, out of nowhere, like lightning bolts from a clear sky. But the earliest warnings don't start in a hospital room. They start in your bedroom, your kitchen, your bathroom, right in the first hour after you wake up. After age 60, your brain enters the morning in its most fragile state. Your blood is thicker from overnight dehydration. Your blood pressure is rising naturally. Your blood vessels are stiffer from aging. And certain common habits can triple your stroke risk before you even pour your first cup of coffee. In this video, I'll reveal 7 hidden morning triggers most seniors never recognize until it's too late, and the simple changes that could protect your brain for years to come. Before we dive in, if you haven't subscribed yet, hit that button and turn on the bell. If you enjoy this video, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 to let me know how I can improve. Number 1. Drinking coffee immediately after waking up. The first thing most Americans do each morning is reach for their coffee pot. The aroma of fresh coffee fills the kitchen, the warm mug touches their hands, and within minutes, caffeine enters an empty, dehydrated system. This familiar ritual is one of the most underestimated triggers of early morning strokes in adults over 60. Here's the medical reality. During the night, your body goes 6 to 8 hours without any fluid intake. You lie in bed, breathing, your skin releasing moisture, your kidneys filtering blood. By morning, you wake up in a state of mild dehydration. As we age, the body loses its ability to retain water efficiently. Older kidneys don't concentrate urine as well. Skin becomes thinner and loses moisture faster. The sensation of thirst diminishes. All of this means seniors wake up significantly more dehydrated than younger adults. Nighttime dehydration increases blood viscosity. Blood becomes thicker, slower, more concentrated. Red blood cells pack closer together. Plasma volume decreases. The heart must pump harder to push this thick blood through narrowed, aging arteries. Now caffeine enters this already compromised system. Coffee acts as a powerful diuretic, pulling even more water from your body through increased urination. Within 30 minutes of drinking coffee, your kidneys begin flushing out additional fluids, worsening the dehydration you woke up with. Simultaneously, caffeine stimulates your sympathetic nervous system. Your heart rate accelerates, blood vessels constrict, adrenaline surges through your bloodstream, blood pressure spikes upward within minutes. For a healthy young person with elastic arteries and efficient circulation, this might cause no problems. But for someone over 60 with stiff arteries, narrowed blood vessels, and atherosclerotic plaque buildup, this combination creates a dangerous cascade. The thick, concentrated blood struggles to flow through narrowed vessels. The heart pumps harder, raising pressure throughout the cardiovascular system. Small blood vessels in the brain, already fragile from aging, face sudden pressure they cannot withstand. This creates 3 immediate dangers. First, blood pressure spikes can rupture weakened vessels in the brain, causing hemorrhagic stroke, where bleeding floods brain tissue. Second, thick blood flowing through narrow vessels forms clots more easily. When a clot lodges in a brain artery, it blocks oxygen delivery, causing ischemic stroke. Third, reduced blood flow to the brain creates oxygen deprivation in brain cells, which can trigger silent mini-strokes called transient ischemic attacks. Research published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that caffeine consumption on an empty stomach increases blood pressure by an average of 8 to 10 points within 30 minutes. For seniors already managing hypertension, this additional spike can push pressure into the danger zone. The solution is simple but requires discipline. Before touching coffee, drink a full glass of room temperature water. Let it absorb for 20 to 30 minutes. Hydrate your blood, restore plasma volume, and allow your circulation to stabilize. Then enjoy your coffee with breakfast, not before it. This one change, water before coffee, can dramatically reduce your morning stroke risk. Number 2, sitting too long on the edge of the bed without moving. Picture the typical morning scene. An elderly person wakes up, pushes themselves to sitting position, and remains motionless on the edge of the bed. Feet dangle toward the floor, hands rest on knees. The body stays completely still for 5, 10, even 20 minutes. This looks harmless, it feels gentle, but medically, this quiet stillness creates one of the most dangerous conditions for early morning stroke. During sleep, blood flow naturally slows down. The heart beats more slowly, blood pools in the lower extremities, particularly the legs and feet. Circulation becomes sluggish and quiet throughout the night. As we age, the veins in our legs lose elasticity. The walls become less flexible. The tiny valves inside veins that prevent blood from flowing backward begin to weaken and malfunction. This makes upward blood flow against gravity much more difficult. When an older adult sits upright but remains motionless, gravity pulls blood downward into the legs. The pooled blood from nighttime continues stagnating instead of returning to the heart and brain. Without muscle movement, there's no pumping action to push blood upward. The calf muscles act as a secondary heart, squeezing veins and propelling blood back toward your chest and brain. But when you sit still, these muscles remain inactive. Blood sits trapped in the lower body, becoming more concentrated and slower moving. Meanwhile, the brain desperately needs oxygen and glucose after hours of sleep. Brain cells consume enormous amounts of energy even during rest. Upon waking, they demand immediate restoration of full blood flow, but the stagnant circulation in the legs prevents adequate delivery. This creates a dangerous mismatch. The heart tries to compensate by increasing pressure, attempting to force blood upward against gravity and through weakened veins. Blood pressure sharply spikes. The thick, slow-moving blood in the legs becomes a breeding ground for clot formation. Three critical dangers emerge from this morning stillness. First, sudden blood pressure spikes can rupture fragile vessels in the brain, particularly in areas already weakened by decades of hypertension. Second, blood clots forming in stagnant leg veins can break free when you finally stand up. These clots travel through the bloodstream toward the heart and lungs, and some reach the brain, lodging in narrow arteries and causing instant stroke. Third, reduced blood flow to the brain creates oxygen deprivation in brain cells, which can trigger silent mini-strokes called transient ischemic attacks. Research from the Journal of Thrombosis and Hemostasis shows that prolonged sitting, especially in the morning when blood is thickest, increases deep vein thrombosis risk by 35% in adults over 60. The solution requires gentle morning motion. Before standing, perform simple bed exercises. Flex and point your toes 10 times. Rotate your ankles in circles. Bend and straighten your knees. Roll your shoulders backward. These small movements activate calf muscles, squeeze veins, and push pooled blood upward toward your heart and brain. Even 2 minutes of gentle motion can restore healthy circulation before you stand up and begin your day. Number 3. Rushing to the bathroom the moment you stand up. The morning begins with urgency. Eyes open. Bladder signals fullness. The body moves quickly from lying down to standing upright. Feet hit the floor. Steps move rapidly toward the bathroom. This rushed transition creates one of the most dangerous physiological shifts of the entire day for adults over 60. During sleep, blood pressure drops naturally. The heart rate slows to resting levels. Blood circulation becomes steady and calm. The body exists in a state of horizontal equilibrium, where gravity doesn't pull blood downward. When you suddenly move from lying to standing, everything changes instantly. Gravity immediately pulls blood toward your legs and feet. The brain, now positioned high above the heart, suddenly requires blood to be pumped upward against gravitational force. In younger adults, the cardiovascular system responds instantly. Blood vessels constrict, heart rate accelerates, blood pressure adjusts within seconds. The brain maintains steady oxygen supply throughout the transition. But in older adults, these reflexes slow down dramatically. The autonomic nervous system, which controls these automatic adjustments, becomes less responsive with age. Blood vessels take longer to constrict. The heart takes several seconds to increase its pumping force. Blood pressure lags behind the body's needs. This creates a critical moment called orthostatic hypotension, a sudden drop in blood pressure upon standing. During these seconds, the brain receives inadequate blood flow. Vision blurs or darkens. Dizziness occurs. Balance becomes unsteady. The risk of falling increases dramatically.
Now add the bathroom urgency. Most seniors wake with a full bladder after holding urine for 8 hours. The pressure to urinate feels intense. The body moves quickly, rushing to relieve this discomfort. Upon reaching the toilet, the body engages in urination, which involves a specific physiological maneuver. The abdominal muscles tighten. Pressure increases in the chest and abdomen. This action, called the Valsalva maneuver, temporarily restricts blood return to the heart. For an older cardiovascular system already struggling with the lying to standing transition, this additional strain becomes dangerous. Blood pressure fluctuates wildly, first dropping from standing too quickly, then spiking from the straining effort. These rapid pressure changes create 3 immediate stroke triggers. First, sharp pressure spikes can rupture weakened blood vessels in the brain, causing hemorrhagic strokes. Second, blood drops can slow blood flow enough that existing clots and narrowed arteries completely block circulation, causing ischemic strokes. Third, the heart muscle itself, stressed by these rapid demands, may struggle to maintain steady output, further compromising brain blood flow. Studies published in Hypertension Journal show that orthostatic blood pressure changes increase stroke risk by 40% in adults over 65, with most events occurring within the first hour of waking. The protective strategy involves deliberate slowness. Upon waking, sit on the bed edge for 30 seconds before standing. This gives blood pressure time to adjust. Stand up slowly, pausing if dizziness occurs. Walk calmly to the bathroom without rushing. These simple adjustments allow your cardiovascular system to stabilize before facing additional strain. Number 4. Skipping breakfast or taking medications on an empty stomach. The morning kitchen sits empty. No food is prepared. The coffee maker gurgles. Medication bottles line the counter. Pills are swallowed with water or coffee. The stomach remains empty as the day begins. This pattern has become increasingly common among older Americans. Some don't feel hungry in the morning. Others practice intermittent fasting. Many simply rush through their routine without considering food. But for people over 60, starting the day without food creates dangerous metabolic stress that significantly increases stroke risk. During nighttime sleep, the body continues burning glucose to fuel brain function and cellular maintenance. The brain consumes approximately 20% of the body's total glucose, despite representing only 2% of body weight. By morning, blood sugar levels reach their lowest point of the entire day. In younger adults, the liver efficiently releases stored glucose into the bloodstream, maintaining stable blood sugar through the night and upon waking. But as we age, liver function declines. Glucose storage capacity decreases. The release of stored sugar becomes less efficient. This means older adults wake up in a state of relative hypoglycemia, low blood sugar that isn't severe enough to cause fainting, but significantly impacts brain function and cardiovascular stability. When the brain senses low glucose, it triggers a stress response. The adrenal glands release cortisol and adrenaline, stress hormones designed to force glucose release from the liver. These hormones also constrict blood vessels and increase heart rate, creating a spike in blood pressure. Simultaneously, low glucose affects blood composition. Platelets, the cell fragments responsible for clotting, become more reactive. Blood thickness increases. The tendency for clot formation rises dramatically. This creates a perfect storm for morning strokes. Elevated stress hormones constrict already stiff arteries. Blood pressure spikes in vessels containing atherosclerotic plaque. Thickened blood flows sluggishly through narrow passages. Clot formation risk increases in both the heart and brain circulation. Research from the Journal of the American College of Cardiology found that skipping breakfast increases cardiovascular event risk by 27% in adults over 60, with ischemic stroke being the most common event. The morning meal doesn't need to be large or elaborate. The goal is metabolic stability. A small serving of protein, such as eggs or Greek yogurt, provides sustained energy. Healthy fats from nuts or avocado support brain function. A piece of fruit delivers quick glucose. This combination stabilizes blood sugar, moderates stress hormone release, and maintains healthy blood flow. Eating before taking medications allows for gradual absorption and prevents dangerous fluctuations in blood pressure and glucose levels. Number 5. Starting your day with stress through news, emails, or social media. The bedroom fills with morning light. A hand reaches for the smartphone on the nightstand. The screen illuminates. News notifications flash across the display. Headlines report disasters, political conflicts, economic problems. Email alerts show urgent messages. Social media feeds scroll with arguments and complaints. Within minutes of opening your eyes, your brain processes dozens of stressful inputs. This has become the modern morning routine for millions of Americans. It feels like staying informed, staying connected, staying current. But for an aging brain and cardiovascular system, this early morning stress exposure creates immediate and dangerous physiological changes. The human body naturally produces a cortisol surge every morning. Cortisol, the primary stress hormone, helps transition from sleep to wakefulness. It peaks between 6 and 9 a.m., increasing alertness and energy. In healthy amounts, this is normal and beneficial. In older adults, this morning cortisol peak is higher and lasts longer than in younger people. The aging endocrine system produces more stress hormones and clears them more slowly from the bloodstream. Now, imagine adding psychological stress on top of this already elevated cortisol, financial worries from news reports, political anger from social media, family tensions from text messages, work pressures from emails. Each stressful input triggers additional cortisol and adrenaline release. These stress hormones cause immediate cardiovascular changes. Blood vessels constrict rapidly, heart rate accelerates, blood pressure spikes upward, blood becomes stickier as platelets activate in response to perceived threat. Remember, this happens when blood is already thick from nighttime dehydration. Vessels are already stiff from aging. Blood pressure is already elevated from the natural morning surge. The combination creates explosive pressure inside arteries that may already contain dangerous plaque buildup. Early morning stress creates 3 stroke triggers. First, sharp pressure spikes can rupture weakened blood vessels in the brain, causing hemorrhagic strokes. Second, stress hormones increase blood clotting factors, raising the risk that a clot will travel to the brain. Third, vessel constriction reduces blood flow to the brain during a period when circulation is already compromised, starving brain cells of oxygen. Studies published in the European Heart Journal show that acute psychological stress in the morning increases stroke risk by 300% within the first 2 hours of waking, compared to stress later in the day. The protective strategy involves creating a buffer zone between waking and stress exposure. Keep the smartphone away from the bedside. Don't check news immediately upon waking. Avoid email and social media for the first 30 minutes of the day. Instead, spend those initial minutes in calm activities, gentle stretching, deep breathing, or quiet reflection. This buffer allows blood pressure to stabilize gradually, stress hormones to remain at healthy levels, and the brain to receive steady blood flow during its most vulnerable period. Number 6. Ignoring morning blood pressure checks. The bathroom counter holds various items: toothbrush, soap, towels, but no blood pressure monitor sits within reach. Most seniors check their blood pressure only at doctor appointments or when feeling unwell. This oversight represents one of the most dangerous gaps in senior health management. The highest stroke risk period of the entire day occurs between 6 and 11 a.m. Yet this is precisely when most people have no idea what their blood pressure numbers look like. During early morning hours, the body experiences the dawn phenomenon. Cortisol rises sharply. The sympathetic nervous system activates. Heart rate and blood pressure increase to prepare for daily activities. In younger adults with elastic arteries and flexible vessels, this morning rise occurs smoothly. Blood vessels expand easily to accommodate increased flow. pressure remains within safe ranges. But in older adults, arteries have lost elasticity. Atherosclerotic plaque narrows vessel walls. The cardiovascular system cannot adapt quickly to changing demands. The result is morning hypertension, dangerously high blood pressure during the first hours after waking. This morning surge represents the single highest risk period for stroke in seniors. Brain vessels, already weakened by years of pressure and age, face their greatest stress. Small arteries in the brain may rupture from sudden pressure spikes. Existing blockages may worsen as pressure forces blood through narrowed passages. Most seniors take blood pressure medication at night or with breakfast, but these medications need 30 to 60 minutes to take effect. During that window, blood pressure remains uncontrolled and potentially dangerous. Without morning measurements, seniors have no warning. They don't know if their pressure is 130/80 or 180/100. They don't realize when medication timing needs adjustment. They remain unaware of the silent crisis occurring inside their arteries each morning. Morning hypertension also causes cumulative damage. Even without causing an immediate stroke, repeated pressure spikes damage small blood vessels in the brain. These tiny injuries accumulate over months and years, causing microinfarcts, miniature strokes that destroy small amounts of brain tissue. Research published in Stroke Journal found that morning blood pressure readings predict stroke risk more accurately than readings taken at any other time of day. Every 10-point increase in morning systolic pressure increases stroke risk by 25%. The solution is straightforward. Keep a quality blood pressure monitor near the bed. Upon waking, after sitting upright for 2 minutes, take a measurement. Record the numbers in a logbook or smartphone app. Share these readings with your doctor at regular appointments. If morning readings consistently exceed 140/90, medication timing or dosage needs adjustment. If readings spike suddenly or show erratic patterns, immediate medical evaluation is necessary. These numbers provide the early warning system that can prevent strokes before they occur. Number 7. Spending the first hour of the morning sitting still. The morning begins slowly. An older person wakes, moves to the living room couch, and sits down with a newspaper. Or they settle into a comfortable armchair to watch morning television. Or they remain at the breakfast table long after finishing a small meal. The body stays motionless. Legs remain bent. Arms rest on armrests. The head stays still. An hour passes in complete physical stillness. This appears peaceful, even healthy, a gentle, low-stress way to begin the day. But medically, this prolonged morning stillness is one of the most dangerous circulatory patterns for adults over 60. When you wake up, your blood is naturally thicker from overnight dehydration. Red blood cells are concentrated. Plasma volume is reduced. The blood's viscosity is at its highest point of the day. Your leg muscles are stiff from hours of immobility. Your veins are relaxed. Your blood pressure is rising, but circulation hasn't fully activated. This represents a delicate, vulnerable moment for the cardiovascular system. Movement is what helps the body transition safely. When muscles contract, they squeeze veins and push blood back toward the heart. When joints move, they stimulate circulation. When the body shifts position, it prevents blood from pooling in dependent areas. But stillness traps the body in a dangerous state. The calf muscles, which normally act as a pump to push blood upward from the legs, remain inactive. The venous valves, already weakened with age, allow blood to pool in the lower extremities. Blood sits stagnant, cooling, thickening, slowing its movement. Meanwhile, the brain needs oxygen and glucose after hours of sleep. Brain cells are waking up, demanding increased blood flow to power their activity, but sluggish circulation from the legs fails to deliver adequate supply. This creates an internal crisis. Blood pools below while the brain starves above. The heart compensates by increasing pressure, attempting to force blood upward. In seniors with stiff arteries and narrowed vessels, this pressure increase can rupture weakened areas or worsen existing blockages.
Prolonged stillness creates 3 immediate dangers. First, stagnant blood in the legs forms clots more easily. Platelets clump together. Clotting factors activate. A clot formed during this quiet period can break free when you finally stand, traveling to the lungs or brain. Second, the heart must work harder to overcome the resistance of pooled blood, spiking pressure and stressing vessel walls throughout the brain. Third, the brain operates with reduced blood flow, starving cells of oxygen during a critical transition period. Studies from the Journal of Applied Physiology show that just 60 minutes of morning sitting reduces cerebral blood flow by 15% in adults over 65, significantly increasing acute stroke risk. The protective solution requires gentle, consistent movement. After waking, spend 5 minutes performing light activity before settling into stillness. March in place, lifting knees gently. Rotate ankles in circles. Swing arms back and forth. Walk around the house, moving from room to room. These simple movements activate circulation, prevent blood pooling, and ensure the brain receives adequate oxygen supply during its vulnerable morning period. Protecting your brain starts the moment you wake up. The first hour after waking matters more than most people imagine. During this window, your blood is thicker, your vessels are stiffer, your circulation is fragile, and your brain is at its most vulnerable point of the entire day. The 7 morning habits we've explored are not abstract theories. They are real, measurable physiological threats that slowly push the aging brain toward danger. Rushing your body when it needs stability. Starving your brain when it needs fuel, flooding your system with stress when it needs calm, allowing stillness to harden into stagnation when your blood needs movement. Every one of these habits affects blood flow. Every one increases the odds of forming clots. Every one can trigger a stroke in a body that no longer adapts as quickly as it once did. But the same habits that harm you are the ones you can change. Not with difficulty, not with expense, but with awareness, with intention, with a willingness to respect the reality of an older body. A glass of warm water before anything else. A minute of gentle motion before standing. A peaceful mind instead of stressful headlines. A bite of nourishment instead of an empty stomach. A blood pressure reading instead of a guess. A few steps instead of long stillness. These small adjustments are not minor. They are medicine. They are protection. They are longevity in its truest form. Your brain is asking for attention. Your body is asking for compassion. And your future self is asking you to act now, while you still have the power to change the path ahead. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Take a moment to share one thing you've learned and plan to apply in your own life. If you enjoyed this video, please comment with 1. If not, feel free to comment with 0. Your feedback means a lot. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Thank you for watching, and here's to protecting your brain every single morning.